again, and I like my coffee like I like my chocolate. Sweet.
Oh. Hi guys, it's Madufe, and I like my coffee like I like my conversations. Steamy. My mind.
So today,
Yeah, well, obviously seeing as last week we talked about mental health
yeah.
and, with Mental Health Awareness Week, the theme, according to the Mental Health Foundation, was body image.
Okay.
So, since we kind of touched on it a bit, why not just open that up?
Why not?
So when you think of the term body image, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Legit, like when you first said body image, I just imagined myself looking in the mirror. Is that kind of thing. Like body image it has more to do with self-perception, I think.
Yeah.
When you're speaking of body image, I think it's more of an intrinsic internal thing than it is an external perception and view of, so it's literally how, like, I literally saw myself looking in the mirror. That's the first thing that came to my mind. What about you?
I would actually agree, but also add that I think it is also external. So it's how the external influences how you look at yourself in the mirror as well. So they're not mutually exclusive, it kind of ties in for me. So I might look in the mirror and see myself as beautiful, but if I go out and they tell me, okay, well, you've got short hair or whatever, and short hair's not in, and then when I go back to look at myself in the mirror again, that might change my perception of myself. So I think it's kind of a symbiotic relationship between the two. What do you think?
I agree. And like building onto what we were talking about last week, what do you think the biggest challenges that our generation faces when it comes to body image? In terms of what we go through now versus what our parents may not have had to, the externals. What are our externals that probably you think play a bigger factor?
Oh God, this is a big one. And like I said before,
the
big dissertation questions, the big dissertation questions. Like I said last week, I think that the biggest thing our generation faces is comparisons. And whilst other generations had that, they did not have it
in your face.
It was not. It's almost like I feel like social media is designed to make you compare yourself.
Yeah.
Although obviously that's a hyperbolic statement. I'm not literally saying that's what social media was designed for. But so comparisons, social media as well has definitely played a massive factor in body image, body perception, and also changing the standards of beauty. And then what else did our parents not face? Oh God. Actually, I keep saying negatives, but like I always like to throw in the positives. Our parents back then probably didn't have as much support as we do now. So now, whilst body image is an issue and body dysmorphia is on the rise, they probably didn't have as much support from mental health, the mental health side of things. They probably weren't able to be as open. And also, let's throw in a little context of the male gaze and how feminism has helped progress things a bit more forward. Although we're not fully there yet, but I feel like in terms of just general objectification of the female body, what our parents had to deal with back then in terms of like the general society, like frame of mind towards the female body was very much different. Although there's still some like running threads, which we don't have to mention, they're pretty obvious, but I feel like definitely now more than ever, I think people are becoming more aware and becoming more kind of open to understanding and to listening. But I might also just be a bit more on the privileged side of things because obviously I'm having positive conversations, also negative conversations, but I'm in a space where I'm having productive conversations. But I understand that may not be the case in other places. How about you?
Building on what you said in terms of what our parents, I think that another benefit our parents, I'm going from the side of benefits, that their standards of beauty were a lot more localized. In the sense that, and that just ties into the point that you had with social media, like it literally just came to me as you were saying it, in the sense that their standard of beauty was really only influenced by their actual direct surroundings, literally as far as they could reach. So if I'm from Aberdeen, and Aberdeen may have a certain standard of beauty that it actually is different than London. But because with the rise of social media now, Aberdeen and London, even though they're completely different, completely separate, the standards of beauty are starting to conflate.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, a standard of beauty and the idea of the ideal body image, because if we're talking about idealism, everyone is now in this generation of social media, as the body images change, so does everyone's ideal of what that body image is. So if we're going back to the person looking themselves in the mirror, if it doesn't look like the body image of today, there comes that problem.
Of course, and it's interesting you actually brought that up about the ideal body image. This big question of what is the ideal body image? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's like it's a myth. It's created by society, and I think it's the amplification of what we perceive that other people are attracted to or
and
other people
comes
like.
Back to that male gaze.
It comes back to you see men at the root of the problem. I'm joking, but a little bit serious. But yeah, so at the end of the day, if we keep chasing what the ideal body image is, we would never be happy. And there was a very interesting Instagram post I saw. This lady did the ideal body image for different years, like different generations. So I literally saw like a few pictures. So there was one where it was literally the straight boy look was the ideal body image. Imagine being a curvaceous woman in that time, or when huge tits like Marilyn Monroe, hourglass figure, pin-up girl was in.
Type,
Exactly. Then they also had the time when chubbiness, they like, you looked wealthy. Biggie, heavy, baby, do you want me? So yeah, chubbiness was actually the in thing. There was also a time when being stick thin. Not even just, this was just how many years ago that being stick thin?
90s,
that is a 90s,
that's Cindy
early
Crawford,
2000s even, because
Kate Moss.
Girl, because I was at boarding school, and obviously, you know, when you have girls in an enclosed environment for so long together, I remember, you know, I used to gym quite hard from when I was about 14, 16, and I remember the body image I had in my mind was Jordan Dunn. I was obsessed with Jordan Dunn, and one of my friends from school, she was obsessed with Cara Delevingne, and I remember sharing a room with her. She literally had Cara Delevingne everywhere. It's like Cara Delevingne.
That was very recent, because I was in middle school when I was just like, yo, Jordan Dunn, Chanel Iman.
Yes.
All the ones. Joanne Smalls. Like the fact, like you can see how embedded it was in my brain. The fact that and that was that was 6th, 7th grade.
So yeah, body image has been a thing that's been kind of ingrained in us since we were younger, and obviously thinking about, you know, am I looking up to Jordan Dunn and, you know, women who are really tiny and stick thin, and then knowing that I used to actually, like, when I used to work out, going like at a young age, I'd be like trying to do so much cardio. I was doing Sean T's Insanity, Kayla Itzing's Bikini Body Guide. At what age? Honestly, and that was just so that I could have like a thigh gap, because it was like, oh my god, I have to have a thigh gap. It's like, oh, why are my thighs touching? And then we used to do that thing. Skinny legends. Oh, we used to do that thing where you stand in the mirror and you take a picture, you do that so that your thigh shows a bit more. And then now it's changed. People are trying to stand in all sorts of ways to make themselves look fuller.
And the things, like, I completely relate, because I'm looking back to myself in 6th and 7th grade, which is always crazy to look back on when you did that was 8-9 years ago. And I literally looked up the exact same people: Jordan Dunn, Joanne Smalls, and Chanel Iman. Those three, and and back then I was way too, I was thin to the point that it wasn't healthy. But in my mind, I didn't see a problem. I was just like, I look like Joanne.
5'6", yes.
I look
what
like
is
Chanel
this?
Iman. I look like Joanne Smalls. No one can tell me nothing. But it's interesting though, because now I look back then, but then I look towards today and what's looked in as the body type of today.
Yeah.
And it's that your BBL shape. Because now back then I was just like, okay, my body, I'm in the end, to not sound self-absorbed, but my body was the in type.
Yeah.
And now we're today, and I'm just like, I'm still the skinny girl that I was back then, but skinny girl's no longer in fashion.
And it's really sad that we actually use the word fashion to talk about our bodies that we did not ask for. Because There was one tweet I read that said, if you have a problem with how flat my ass is, go take it up with my mum and Jesus. Okay, that was my tweet. But.
True tea. God made me as I am, and God don't make mistakes.
Exactly. So. And the thing is, like, people always make these jokes about, when God was giving out, like, boobs, I was in the queue for foreheads, or my alarm snooze, and, like, these self-deprecating jokes, whilst, yes, sometimes they may be funny, it gets to a point whereby we keep being pushed this narrative. There's a narrative behind it. And I'm all for, obviously, as an English student, not just focusing on just what's presented to you, but also focusing on the thought process that has led to that presentation. Yeah. So, like, we're making self-deprecating jokes. Okay, cool. But, like, what is underneath that? You know? So, how do you feel about, especially online, people making jokes about a certain body type, being like, there was one that, I don't even want to say it, but this one was actually about guys, about, with my skinny boyfriend, I feel like I'm trying to close the gates from the outside when I'm hugging him. And that got like 200,000 retweets. I
scream!
And imagine being a guy who, like, you're okay with yourself. You're not fully self-assured or self-confident. You're just okay. Just like, and then you read something like that, and then the jokes keep coming every single week.
I see what you mean. Like, my favorite skinny girl one, which is really funny because the skinny girl was always the focus, but now she's the butt of the joke. Which, to be fair, like I dabble in self-deprecating humor. That's probably my specialty, which is absolutely terrible. So literally, one of my favorite tweets of all time will forever be, dating a skinny girl is all fun and games until you switch on the fan and she starts to blow away. Hey guys, so we're back again with another fantastic guest for you today. Yeah. We have the lovely Paige.
Hey.
So how do you like your coffee?
I like my coffee how I like fashion, hot and in.
Yeah. So as we first mentioned, you're the founder, the CEO, and the owner of Black Official. So if you want to explain to them kind of like what's that, how it came about.
So Black Official is a brand, and at the moment I'm currently selling t-shirts on it, and it kind of has these catchy, empowering, funny slogans. And I had the idea around maybe 2 years ago, but I just kind of wrote it down, put it in like my journal, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's something. And then I just left it.
At me.
What do you think? And then it was beginning of last year where I initially got some slogans that I had done on tote bags just to see how they looked and the kind of different fonts and stuff. And I liked it, and I was like, okay, I think I'll try this. But it was around the period where things were happening a lot at uni, as uni does. So I just like, okay, I'll just put it to the back burner and leave it. And in between launching it, I launched my blog, which was another thing that I did. And the anniversary is next week, and I have a post coming as well to celebrate the 1 year anniversary. So make sure to check it out, paigebernard.com.
We excited.
Black Official I launched in September, and I just kind of did it. I just kind of wanted to do just something that I really liked, which I also thought other people would like. And one of the slogans, which is quite popular, is Super Melanin Excellence. So that is one thing that I have, and I'm looking to, now that I'm done with my degree, to really expand where like what the slogans go on, looking at like mugs and phone cases and stuff. So I'm looking to really expand the brand.
Super Melanin Excellence Black Focus, I see it.
Honestly,
I actually see it.
I also love this is a tad problematic. Because I literally, once I see it, I just read it in your voice. I'm like, it's a tad problematic.
No, conceded.
And so, in terms of juggling, you said as uni gets in the way, what advice would you have for someone who wants to, start up a business? Because I myself, obviously, mobiles. And
2 entrepreneurs in the room, y'all.
But when I say back burner, Sis, I don't even think it's still in the fridge marinating. At the moment, I put it in the fridge because I was like, it's gonna go off in this heat. So, how would you like give some advice to someone who wants to start up a business but they're quite busy or have a busy schedule? What would you say they should prioritize, and maybe how they should look after themselves as well, because it can be overwhelming?
I think I know for me personally, it was one of the things where it was such a back burner idea that I just was going to just let it sit on the shelf and potentially expire. So I knew I just kind of had to just jump into it and just go from there. Obviously I did have some form of a plan, but I know that I can be quite a bit of a perfectionist and a bit meticulous, in which case I will avoid doing what needs to be done because I want it to be perfect. But obviously perfection does not exist anyway, and we're not striving for perfection. We want the realness. So basically I would just say that, you know, kind of have a plan of what it is you want to do, and also do research in terms of what it is that you're doing and how you're going to achieve that. Because I obviously wasn't in the position to, you know, get all the t-shirts and print the slogans myself, because obviously uni. So I did it via a website, like a kind of third party. But I spent a good period of time researching that website and other websites just to kind of see what was going to work best for me, like in terms of now as like a short-term goal, as well as in the long term, you know, if the business really expands and I'm having international customers, are they able to, you know, are they able to be able to get those the products and the shipping and stuff like that. So I had to take that into account. And I think even when I launched it, I know I was being more consistent at the beginning, just because the intensity of uni hadn't kicked in yet, so I had the time to, and then it got to a point where I wasn't really posting, and then I said, okay, I'm going to try to do at least minimum 2 posts a week, just to be consistent and to like keep that interaction between the business and the people who follow it, and also build up the following. That kind of went to plan-ish up until I just had to just leave it, but I feel like that was also just because I wasn't in the creative space mentally to be able to give myself fully. So I think I know for me, I don't want to force it, I want it to be authentic. So I can plan to do 2 posts a week, but if I feel like I don't have anything to say, or I'm not coming from that place within me where like, oh yeah, I want to share this, then I'd rather not do anything. So I think it can be hard, especially when you're studying and you have these ideas and, you know, all these other things going on. But I think you just have to prioritize, and you always make time for what you want to do. You make excuses for things you don't want to do. When you want to do something, you will do it. You will find a way, even if it's something very small and minuscule. If it's something adding your MCM that haven't replied to your text.
Wow. We're going for the jugular today. Say no. Say no.
But yeah, so I think it's just important to set goals and have objectives, but also be realistic and evaluate, like, okay, to be honest, I'm just really not feeling it, or this week has not been the best. I wanted to do posts, but I've just not been in the place to do it, so I'm not going to beat myself up about it, because I know that I tried and it's maybe not worked, or I'm not able to give it my full attention. But I think I learned a lot doing it, you know, like trying to get the business together and having it alongside doing my studying. I think just in terms of like asking people to share my stuff, something I've never really done before. So it was very much an alien experience that I had, and I'm still getting used to doing it. Like, oh, can you share this? Or, you know, like, oh, can you like post it on your page and stuff? But I feel like I'm just becoming more confident, because you have to be your own biggest fan, and you have to put yourself out there. And a lot of the time, you're probably just overthinking it, you know. Like, and if someone doesn't decide to post something, okay, that's their choice. So, you know, like if they decide not to, you can't be angry at them for it. You can only ask politely, and if they say yes and they do it, cool. If they do it without asking you, even better. Cool. But yeah, I think everything is just an experience, and everything is just kind of a lesson. You just have to just sometimes feel your way through it, and you don't necessarily know what you're going to learn until afterwards. So you have to just kind of go with the flow and just trust yourself, like trust your intuition, whatever your inner, your soul, your higher calling is telling you, then you just have to just do it.
Always great to see you, babe.
Always.
So it's been your girl Brenda.
And it's been your girl Medipe.
And it's been Paige.
And we'll catch you guys in the next one.